Alright, today we're going to go film the vlog for October. It's a beautiful day out, and we're going to go meet up with a good friend who has not one, but two NSXs, the original and the new 2017. And we're going to put them back to back and see how they compare, what they're like to drive, all that. So follow along. All right, hey, we're here today doing vlog number 10, October, and I have a friend, Terry, who has both of these cars. He owns both of them, and I'm probably pretty sure that he's the only one in Minnesota that owns two. This is a 1991, and this is a 2017 Acura NSX. We're gonna get in both of them today. We're gonna drive them both, compare them, talk about them, let you know what they're all about, see if there's any lineage here. And that's what we're gonna do. So let me introduce Terry. He's gonna come in and give us a quick little introduction to who he is and what his cars are all about. Come on in, Terry.
Hey, Josh.
How's it going?
All right.
So you got both of these NSXs,
Yep.
and you've had this one for how long now?
About a month.
About a month.
And
And
I've had about 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
And are you, what number owner are you?
For this one here, oh, for this
For
one,
this
three.
one. You're the
Three.
third owner.
Yeah, this one, the first owner.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. You got that off a dealer's lot. You
Yep.
didn't spec it out, but it came in all the spec you liked.
Pre-spec, exactly
Okay.
the way I wanted it.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got 54,000 miles on this 1991.
Okay.
And it's a manual transmission. It's got the 270 horsepower, which is the V6.
Okay.
And generation 1. So both of these vehicles here are Gen 1 model year 1 of the series.
Okay.
So I like that personally because that's exactly how Honda intended. So the car hasn't been watered down. It hasn't been changed to make it more mass market appeal.
Right.
This is exactly they wanted, the way the engineers designed, built it, and wanted us to drive it.
And it's got pop-up headlights, which just does not, which is a bummer.
Yep, this is fixed.
Just kidding. All right, well that's great. We're gonna get in them and drive them and show you what they're all about. And that's gonna be my vlog for this month. So come along.
Thanks.
All right, so we're here now in the 2017, and you can take it for a spin.
Yep, a little harder to do on the Gen 1.
So did you hesitate when you saw this car was coming out? Was it ever a hesitation, all the technology? I mean, you've got, let's talk about that a little bit. You've got the 500 horsepower V6 behind you,
Right.
With an electric motor between that and the 9-speed transmission.
Right.
And then two more electric motors up front. Is that at all, like, does that bother you? Were you looking for something a little more special? Like, I mean,
Well, in the Gen 1, I think a lot of Gen 1 owners appreciate the simplicity. The fact that we can even wrench on our own cars is a big selling point.
right.
On the Gen 2, yes, there's a lot of wizardry happening here, which isn't that different than, let's say, a Nissan GTR. Now, you know, with all the torque vectoring, the fact that you've got a pair of turbos you have to deal with, because of the complexity, that can throw off a lot of people because we won't be able to wrench on this type of car. And so, but did it faze me from wanting to buy the car? Perhaps early in the beginning because it was untested. We didn't know how well the car would actually do.
Well, I can tell you right now, as a passenger, and it's like riding in any Acura. It's just as comfortable, just as quiet,
Right.
You know, in not Sport Plus mode, but yeah, it's extremely just easy to drive.
So I want to chat briefly about the steering. On this here, they're not even connected at all. Neither are the brakes.
Right.
So it's almost, people comment, oh, it's like driving a video game. Absolutely not. I mean, the steering, the precision.
I heard that about 4 times today watching other videos.
Absolutely stunning. I had never driven a car that was this precise, and I could not tell. If you told me that this was
Well, yeah,
not connected, I wouldn't believe you.
Jason Camiza, for instance, Motor Trend, he like a quote, he said the steering is absolutely terrible, he said.
Well,
he said it's because the torque vectoring electric motors up front, that those have control over everything, and that he said that from the press release that they had to intentionally numb the steering down just so you didn't get torn around by that torque vectoring.
That may be the case, but
yeah, I'm gonna hop in the driver's seat next, and we'll see how it goes, I guess. The first time driving the NSX, and just gonna take it out on some back roads, kind of see what's what. No, you were right. The visibility is pretty good. There's a little block back in your C-pillar, but it's not much of a gap where you know. And your mirrors are very good too. They stick out far. They're large enough.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. That's great acceleration.
But going into a corner, you'll feel zero lean.
Right.
It's
completely adaptive. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was hearing that it can change even multiple times within a bump. Mm-hmm. Like it happens. Not like split second, but like split second. I mean, it's extremely intelligent and fast. So defend the interior a little bit. I am not a huge fan of Acura's interiors to begin with. I think that they try too hard. Mm-hmm. I spend more time in German cars, and they kind of keep things very simple and precise. I like the styling, but the materials and things I'm not quite sold on. So what do you think of that? Is it?
That's great.
Do you think it's?
That's a great comment. This one here, I would say that I'm okay with it. I'm not necessarily. I mean, I've seen the Germans and the Porsches. They're very, very nice. This one here matches a lot of the angles, the textures, the colors, the accents of the exterior. So it was built so that both the interior and the exterior match. It's not necessarily supercar level.
Right.
I think that's the concern.
It's not matching the price point, in my opinion.
Exactly. It's not matching
But you can overlook that.
Oh, yeah, because of how the car is. I'm more interested in the performance, how the car handles, how the car makes me feel.
Okay.
The interior is fine. I do like the Alcantara inserts.
I like that too, much better than the colored inserts. I don't like that's
red.
Too busy. The red. This interior is quite nice.
And some people like the ivory interior, the red accent, and then there's also the baseball brown available, and which looks quite nice as well. But the Alcantara, the beauty is how it holds you in the seat, especially when you're on a track like Road America.
Right.
So
no, they're supportive, but they're comfortable too.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that for the very first time in my life, I've shifted into 9th gear. Period.
Now, comment on the steering wheel, the shape.
The shape?
Feel.
The material feels. I don't know if it's real leather, right?
I hope so.
I hope so too. It's a little like buttery. I don't know. It might not grip everybody's hands right, but the contours of it are very nice. Mm-hmm. Every American car does it wrong pretty much, and they have these super thick arms on and it's just, I hate that because sometimes you like to go like this or whatever, and but this one's kind of a perfect medium. It's pretty nice. The sound is got a good sound, but some people have been saying that it's a little tinny or whatever, and I don't know.
I haven't heard that. Now, I'm not clear how much sound they're piping into the car.
That was going to be my question. Is there any of it?
I think there is.
Okay.
A lot of the modern cars actually have that sound being piped in.
Right. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
You know, there's a lot of great V6s out there that have great sound. For example, the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, that thing sounds insane. And this thing could have a different sound, I think. I think it could benefit from an aftermarket exhaust.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree.
Plus, it'll turn more heads.
I would love to have an aftermarket exhaust.
Yeah. No power steering.
That's right.
That's the way it was.
That's right. Yeah, 91.
How cool, though. It feels special. Right away, does it feel special? So now that we're going, we are now in the 1991. This is the first year of the Acura NSX in worldwide.
Yep.
Was this one a U.S. car? Like this one was delivered?
This was actually a Canada car.
Canada car. Is there any differences then?
The fog lights in the front, the driving lights.
They're clear?
No, the fact that they offer driving lights.
Okay.
And those automatically come on, but other than that, they're fairly exactly the same.
Okay, so run us through real quick of like the specs.
It's a 1991 NSX. It's currently at 54,000 miles. All black interior, black exterior. The only modifications on the car include a Comtech Gen 1 exhaust, which is fairly tame and kind of quiet and more on the conservative level. 1995 wheels, which are still original equipment, just not for the 91. And the steering wheel that you're holding is aftermarket as well. It's a replica of the NSX R.
Okay.
So it's got the exact same steering wheel with the steering horn button. But it's
was that a Momo?
It was a Momo.
This is just...
It was a factory Momo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still getting used to the clutch. It's pretty high tipping point. So.
Yeah.
You said you drive it 1,000 or 2,000 miles per year?
Yep. Not very often, mainly on cruises. There's a NSX club here in Minnesota, so we'll do a lot of cruises. And
have you ever tracked it?
I have tracked it. I've actually tracked it several times. So Road America, but also Brainerd, BIR.
Okay.
So I've tracked it up there twice. I've done DCTC twice in this car. Innovative in 91 was the amount of power, because a lot of 270 horsepower at that time was a lot of power. A lot of the manufacturers at the time were also self-regulating or restricting how much peak horsepower was available. This one came out at 270 horsepower. All aluminum construction. The fact that you had a mid-engine vehicle, and I don't know how many mid-engines Honda came out with, but this was a big shift for them.
I'm just gonna switch the.
Now the turning angle is terrible, by the way. So you couldn't make that left or that U-turn real well. So 3 points in an NSX are more common than you think, which is kind of embarrassing.
So is arm strength.
You could build up some of that arm strength over time. Now, how do you feel? Because you're 6'2", and you were saying there's plenty of room in the Gen 2. How do you feel here?
My head's touching the ceiling, but it's all good because I'm driving an NSX, which is the feeling right away is something special. You know you're in something special. The sound, that linear power, which I'm assuming it just keeps pulling.
It just keeps pulling, yeah. In the Gen 1, the NA1, you've got the pop-up headlights, and then in NA2, then they've got the frog-style headlights.
That is a good sound, though. What's been your experience with durability? Has it lasted pretty well for you? Have you had many issues?
I personally have had, the only issue is the slow windows. So there's actually a fix for it by a guy named Hugo.
Just the electric window motors?
Yeah.
There's nothing old-fashioned about the speed, though, because I'm not even toward red line, and it still just will effortlessly desire to pull.
And it gets to speed effortlessly, but it's not violent. I mean, it's very smooth going up to it.
I like it a lot. I like the steering wheel a lot too. So to quickly summarize my thoughts on these two cars, the new NSX is really a celebration of Porsche 918 type technology for a fraction of the cost, but not a fraction of the performance. And while I personally could not buy a car like this unless I loved the styling inside and out, Terry can overlook these minor concerns on the styling because the performance is so agreeable. The original NSX is really the star of the show if you ask me. Its style and performance is still relevant even after 26 years, and while it feels a bit old school now, the sensation of driving the original never grows old. As far as the lineage goes, well, there really is none. Apart from the mid-engine layout and a few other insignificant details, these two cars couldn't be more different. One built in Japan and developed on Suzuka by Ayrton Senna, and the other designed and built in Ohio with no F1 champions in sight. Ultimately, both cars are special, but I think for very different reasons. One is a tech fest that emphasizes technology and performance numbers, and the other is a tactile sports car that is more about feeling than raw speed. Huge thank you to Terry for letting me film his cars and having a go at driving them both. Any day is a good day when you get to drive cars like these.